when we had a huge revolt convention at Constitutional Hill, and in there we spoke about different topics that we had, and it was basically just about young people revolting against doing good, revolting against killing poverty, having a higher education standard, and just trying to social employment in the country. So before I carry on and ramble the whole day, we're going to call up on Noluthando. Guys, please loosen up a bit. Noluthando is going to come up and then she'll take it from there. Noluthando.
Thank you. Good day, everyone. Thank you for coming and being with us. My name is Noluthando Duma, and I will be moderating the session. We have a very short program. It runs for 12 hours. So if you can stand the 12 hours, we're good, right? So Lalumbe had just started, and I just wanted to really give you this background. And I was just chatting to one of our speakers now, that yesterday we were chatting about getting more people into this event. And we couldn't because we have a corporate agreement with the US Embassy. So I'm gonna continue from where Lalumbe started. So before, I want to acknowledge, of course, the US Embassy. We are going to send our video over to DC and the Embassy so that they see that we've done this particular event. I'd like to acknowledge them, of course, for their continuous support in everything that we do. So just a bit of a background. The South African Mandela Washington Leaders Alumni Association has been working in a cooperative agreement with the US Embassy in South Africa. So earlier this year, we implemented the two-day Young African Leaders Forum and Ignite Talks event that we themed Revolt 2019, which served to elevate the voices of Alumni Association, especially Mandela Washington Fellows, in the Southern African region. So we had 25 of the most exciting speakers from 15 countries. So we flew in speakers from Mauritius, from Ethiopia, from Kenya, from Tanzania. It was actually fun. So with these speakers, they came and they covered different topics. And as Lalumbe had said, the theme for some of these talks were politics in an unequal world, breaking barriers, where speakers like Kweku Tim from South Africa spoke on what winning looked like for Africans. Lindelwe Dube spoke on women's voices in political spaces. The second theme was the civic leadership sector, where the speakers spoke on disrupt or get disrupted in aid of social inclusion. We also had a business session where the discussion was around how do we ensure inclusivity and leverage diversity, where Tigist Araya from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia addressed solutions to break barriers and how to challenge the status quo in an emerging market. Helen Dazen from Tanzania spoke of the expired dream, and this particular event was a success. In attendance were 150 young people who came in to listen and to add their voices in shaping the state of Africa. At the Revolt in June, we needed to have amongst us young, influential people who are breaking barriers. And we were blessed to have the CEO of Google Africa, Mr. Mzamo Masito. And he came and spoke about the power of the African child, the power that the African child possesses. And he also focused on the internal revolutions that must take place before external revolutions take place. In attendance also were Ms. Azania Mosaka, a radio and TV personality. We had Ms. Faith Mangope, who is from ENCA, who ran our speaker coaching. We had Kathy Motlatlana, who also collaborated with us and invited us to a show on Newsroom Africa to speak on the particular event that we were hosting. We had Nick Bauer. I mean, there's a whole lot of journalists, right? At some point, it just seemed like, but in actual fact, I must mention this. These journalists are all Mandela Washington Fellows. And most people don't know this. I would say I'm proud of you guys, the ones that came. I know Lalu and I, we are dinosaurs. But I think Lalu is a fossil. Yeah, no, Lalu and their group became the first class of Obama Fellowship, right? And then we were the second class, so I think I'm still better, right? So now what needed to follow from the objectives of this cooperative agreement was a smaller event that focused more on quality than quantity, right? Which is where we are now. That is why we've called out to you to come to us and to listen. Now, the main aim of this particular event is to serve as a catalyst for networking, which is to connect other leadership organizations and or fellowships that have similar goals and objectives. It is also to expose young people to spaces that they would not normally be exposed to. Pure example, which young person from Soweto would come and be at this venue at any point in time? It is the same people who go to these events, who are in these platforms that we are in, who go to the things that we do. We have dinners with the embassy every time and time again. You guys would remember Kathy Motlatlana speaking at our last welcome event. She said it's time for us to get out of our Sentin and the embassy house zone. It's time for us to move back to our townships and show our young people that we are as normal as just like them. Even though when they read our profiles, people be like, you know, when you read Thabo and Mandisa's profile and you read everyone else's profile, you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just a miniature. But you're not, you know. You are as important and as powerful as we are. And also, we just want you to remember, right, that we started where you are, right? I've recently been having meetings with young people where they're like, Noluthando, you have to be a part of our group, or we have a company, or we're doing A, B, and C, and we'd really love to have your networks in that. And I say to them, guys, you don't even have to sometimes go for these fellowships because you are already doing so many amazing things. So that's exactly why we're here, and that's why we have this particular group. And that's why we are bringing you the people that we've brought you. That's why we want you to be here, not with friends, not Eyadini or Gamex. I'm from Umlazi. Kwacho. Epa, mama. Not Kwacho. So, just to continue now, but that's exactly what we wanted to do. And so we have successfully invited and are honored with the presence of another germ of South Africa, a mover and a shaker in the entertainment space, a woman who has been consistent in her craft. She is with us today, and in no time, we will have a conversation with her. She was born in Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape. She attended college at Girls High School. After matric, she went on to study interior design at the Design School, Southern Africa. She was a DJ at Kingfisher radio station. In 2012, she entered the SABC One Live Presenter Search competition, which she won and broke into mainstream South African entertainment industry. She debuted on Live M, besides television personality Bonang Mateba. She then hosted a music show called The Urban Music Experience, which aired on SABC One every Friday evenings. 2017 was a great year for her as she became a host for the MTV show The Come Up. The same year, she was chosen as one of the South African ambassadors for the cosmetic giant Revlon. She also collaborated with Footwork Africa, South Africa or Africa. She won an award for the most Innovation Style Awards later in 2017. She has hosted the red carpet in London for the MTV European Music Awards. I love Globetrotters, right? She has appeared on numerous South African magazines like Elle South Africa, True Love, Bona, to name but a few. She currently hosts a hip-hop show on Metro FM alongside DJ Spitzer. We are listening this evening, right? Yeah. The show is called Absolute Hip Hop. She is inspired by her mom and other powerful women. She is a mother to beautiful twins, a powerhouse, a global shaper, a mover and a shaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Miss Luthando, LootLove Shosha. Now, guys, I'm gonna scream.
How are you guys?
Let's welcome Miss Luthando, guys. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We are really honored to have you here today. I just wanted to have a conversation around your life, your journey. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do that was we hardly have young people like you just in the midst where there is no entertainment and should have passed more time. Understand? So we just wanted to have you and just speak generally about your life. These are our young people. This is our future. This is what we're nurturing. So I'm going to ask you some questions. And I'd like us to just go in and start. So as mentioned in your bio, we know that you're Luthando Shosha from Port Elizabeth, Ebai. Firstly, how did the name LootLove come about?
So the name LootLove, funny, came from, Loot came from high school. So I had these two friends who were twins, Mickey and Kelly, and they were from Botswana. And I've always had a thing about how my name is pronounced, Luthando. So, I think also in high school we were all trying to be cool. So you shorten your name because everyone has had some sort of nickname. Because I don't know, we thought we were popping in high school, but it was really terrible. So mine ended up being Loot because if you Luthando, then Loot, right? So we spelled it L-U-T. But then when I write it as L-U-T, people would say Lat. And I was like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. So I was like, okay, well, let's just make it double O. But at the time, I had no idea what loot is or what it could mean in terms of money or looting. I was in high school, right? So I was like, loot became a thing. Then I obviously left high school. Then when I got into the industry, or when I got to Live Amp in 2012, I kind of needed an AKA, right? And I was like, okay, cool. Then they were like, okay, cool, no, but you need a Twitter handle. And I was like, oh, okay, so what are we going to do? So I had my first account, which was LootLove, and I was like, don't like that. And then I was like, actually, why don't I just put together Loot and Love? And then, and because I was such a hip hop head, I was like, yeah, loot, money. So to me at the time it made sense, and it was part of my intro. I made it my AKA on Live. Everybody had their own little thing. So I remember at the time when Pearl joined us, she was the Black Panther. Wallace was the Shady Lurker. So we all have these little AKAs, and yeah, that's how it was literally a handle that went from a school nickname to the meaning of Igamalam because there's concepts love, and yeah, that was that's how it happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I just want to share. Now you're reminding me of something. I don't know if you guys saw when we had the xenophobic attacks. They took a picture of this lady who, at the previous xenophobic attack, was in a picture on a newspaper, and this person then tags LootLove and says, so they said, oh my gosh, this lady was seen on the previous looting, and now she's seen on the second one. And this lady retweets and says she's LootLove. So LootLove then responds and says, put some respect on my name. So now I understand really what you mean when you say we could have said right now in these days it was about looting.
Right? Yeah.
All right. And how was it growing up in your family?
Oh man, it was amazing. It was fun. I mean, I grew up from year 0 to 8. I moved out to Joburg with my mom. I was in Pretoria for a year. For the first year of high school, went back to PE. Came back for the first 2 years of tertiary, went back to PE. So it was really, really amazing. I grew up around some really strong women. I had my grandmother, I had my mom and all her friends who were my moms. Like I'm saying, my mom is here. So I grew up around women who were strong, independent, inspirational, highly fashionable, just really, really go-getters. And when I was younger also, I grew up around the kind of family that let me be. So I was always either the only girl playing with the boys, or the only girl who wanted a bicycle, or wanted rollerblades, or wanted a Sega, or didn't care about the Barbie dolls. So, but I grew up around a family that let me be fully expressive. And I think also growing up with your grandmother is one of the best things you could ever do. You know, they just treat you like absolute gold. You know, we all know that kid and grandparent relationship. It's the best, right? The parent, yeah, she's like second, but your grandmother's like live.
Yeah.
So I had a very great childhood, a very comfortable childhood, a very safe childhood. I never felt like I was out of place. I never felt like, something was wrong with me. I was always really supported, very loved. And I never really felt like anything was missing. And obviously, in life, challenges come. But, that's just life. That's just whatever. I used to watch my mom and her friends have brides and parties, and I was like, oh, when I grow up, I can't wait. This is the life of I used to watch when Nana just conquer all sorts of things. It's really cool to see women be independent, women driving, women doing things for themselves. That was a very strong thing and a strong narrative across my life. So as the person that I am today is because I saw incredible examples of what pride and sense of self, was. So and I had my grandmother who was such a lady. I can still hear her saying, or walk up straight or whatever. So I was surrounded by incredible women who made sure they took care of themselves, made sure they looked good, made sure they never really looked like they problems, and not in a negative way, but women who also were open in terms of feeling, and if things aren't happening, things aren't happening. If things aren't, going well for the next few months, then those are open conversations I had with my mom. So I grew up in a very happy, comfortable space. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you about that. It's very strange that you've raised the topic on your grandmother. I was speaking to another young person yesterday who's doing very well, and we're actually sharing notes and laughter around growing up, because I was also brought up by my grandmother. And so she called at 11 today. She's like, should we put the TV on so that we can see you? I still have my grandmother. And my grandmother thinks I'm always on TV. Probably the 2 times that she's seen me on TV, she just tells all the grannies that my child's always on TV.
Yes.
So they are the best, right? So I did read that you studied interior design here in Johannesburg. Was this a passion or you were coerced into it?
So it's so funny because I never knew what I wanted to be, and when I got into high school, there was this girl. She was from France, I think, and her name was Chat. And so we were speaking about careers and all sorts of things, and she said this word interior design. I was like, what is that? I've never heard of that. What is that? Where have I been my whole life? So I researched this thing. Now, obviously, I grew up with I think she may not have realized it at the time, a very artistic mom, a very creative mom. So in terms of how the house looked, her outlook on fashion, she was just one of those. You can still see her right now. I keep making these references, guys. So the creative thing, so we would watch Top Billing on Sundays, she would buy magazines with books, all sorts of things where we could see big houses and plan what we wanted to do. And when I heard this word interior design, I figured, okay, what's that about? So Chat said something brief, it's something you do in houses. I was like, well, that's not enough information. But then I went into the research, and I was like, oh, you're an architect, but on the inside. Got it. Cool. The more I did research, I was like, actually, this is something I think I want to do. And when I left Matric, that was a conversation I had with my mom. And I didn't want, so the first thing my mom said to me was, you're not staying in Port Elizabeth. There's nothing for you here, right? Because she had moved back. She's like, I need you to grow, I need you to experience things, I need you to live. She herself had lived in Joburg, so she was like, I need you to go explore and have fun. So when you look for schools or whatever, then look all over, right? But hopefully if you settle in Joburg, that's cool. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, fine. Then I found this design college, design school of South Africa. And it was a special university, or small little college for interior design, graphic design, and fashion design.
Okay.
I was like, okay, this is perfect. So that's where I started, and it was literally the best thing I've ever done. It was the most incredible 2 years of my life. Obviously because of finances and I couldn't finish, so I went back home. So it literally started from a conversation with a girl from from a different country, to me doing research, to me finding what I thought and I still think I really, really love.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I really like what you're saying about meeting up with people, because I think you've highlighted that a girl from another country, and that's why we're trying to inspire the young people here to travel, to see the world. And because some of us, we grow up emlazi, sifunde emlazi, sisebenze emlazi, sishone emlazi, sishade and everything. One writer says, if you have not traveled, you've only read just one page of a book. So, so you haven't even started. So, I just want to continue from there. So, then Mama encouraged you to take up modeling. Did you ever go through with it?
Let me tell you guys about my mama. When my mom decides on something, it kind of goes out. And I thank God for that, because she's actually the person that forced me to audition so I can get into this space, because I wasn't about it. So, with the modeling thing I did, because I was quite skinny when I grew up, and so I tried bits and pieces of it, but I remember once she made me do Miss Teen, one nightmare. Oh, so she made me do Miss Teen. I didn't even make it far, mostly because I actually didn't want to make it far.
Okay.
I really was terrible, like standing in front of people and speaking and having a lot of people focus on me. It was just such an uncomfortable space for me. So that's what I hated about things like beauty pageants and all of that. But because my mom is my mom and what she says goes, she then eventually made me enter Miss PE.
Oh.
Guys, can I tell you the situation? So I'm a tomboy. I'm just trying to be in sneakers. You know what I mean? Like I'm like chill, like jeans, sneakers, t-shirts, like whatever. You guys are seeing a much more grown version of me right now. But I remember that pageant, and I actually first I bet with my guy friends that I wouldn't even make it past like the entry, the first.
You actually
round.
made the bet yourself?
Yeah, I was like, guys, this is not gonna work out. And they were like, no, it's gonna. I was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but whatever. I did this thing. I made it to the top 12. Now I'm like, I have to be invested. I have to try and enjoy it. Like, then it does like the typical pageant stuff. Then like people are weird and like this weird energy. And I'm like, this is why I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want this crown, guys. Take it. Like, I don't care. But it taught me a very valuable lesson about how far people will go for the things that they want. And it woke me up to the reality of how many people will step on to get what they want. That not everybody has like good intentions or a nice heart. Not everybody's trying to be nice and share the ground like on Mean Girls or something, whatever. This is real life. So I was having fun. I had a lot of incredible support. I think if anything, I was definitely the crowd's favorite. And I remember when I was asked the question, I crumbled, and because I was so nervous and I was so overwhelmed. And I didn't win, but I didn't care that I didn't win because I didn't want the crown in the first place. But it really woke me up to who I could potentially be if I actually decide to believe in myself though. But yeah, so I dabbled in a bit of modeling, and I would have loved to be like a Milan girl, but I eat, so that's tricky. But luckily for me, the workspace that I'm in, because I do have a love for modeling. I remember my mom saying that when she asked me when I was 8 what I wanted to be. I think I said I wanted to be a model at the time. But so because of the workspace that I'm in, I get to model. I sometimes get to work at Fashion Week, or I get to model in terms of covers. So I really treat those like I just bought a gig, because that's just part of my life coming together. Because obviously God is incredible and He makes ways where there are none sometimes.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much. We then saw you joining Revlon as an ambassador. Tell us about that experience and what it really meant to you.
That was very interesting for me, because as I've explained, I've been this very tomboyish character, very laid back, not really into makeup or like making too much effort. And because of the industry I'm in, I've had to learn that those things matter. Image is very important, and that's something you should always work on. It's a very powerful tool in branding. How you look. Your appearance or your appearance is your presence, and that's the first thing people see before they talk to you. So it's very, very important in entertainment to look how you want to be received, I think. So it took some time, but I eventually got on. And Revlon came at a very interesting time because I've just started caring about makeup. I was like, oh, maybe we can try something a little
Makeup.
more than just eyeliner. But it was such a big deal to me because it was Revlon is a brand I grew up watching my mom use. You know, from the nail polishes, I was always like trying to look like her, so trying it out with the nail polishes and seeing someone like Halle Berry be a Revlon ambassador for the longest of times. So when the call came, I was just like, hectic, I'm totally worthy. That's incredible.
Okay.
And their whole campaign was about being bold. And that really resonated with me because I think I'm a very bold person. I am shy and I have my moments, but like I think I'm very bold in the things that I've done, the things that I've tried, the things that I say sometimes, which are probably not so okay to say. I think it takes a lot to even wear certain things or look a certain way or walk into a certain room and like command power. Like when you have to MC, I think when you get on that stage, you're being very bold, you know, and people take for granted what bold actually means. And I thought me being part of something like that, especially with three other incredible South African women, I thought that was so beautiful. So it was a big deal. It was a nice cosign from the universe. It was a nice reminder of I'm on the right path. And it was cool to me to see that an international brand sees me. So, you know, I'm doing something right. I must have, I don't even know what. So it was an important cosign, an important reminder of the path that I'm on. And more than anything, at the time I had short hair. And that's very rare, you know, it's very rare. Like this essay right now literally has a similar haircut to the one that I had. And that's something that you don't see a lot of because a lot of these campaigns have fair, light-skinned women with long, wavy hair or like weaves, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we don't all look like that. And the important thing about that Revlon campaign was representation. There was different skin tones. There was Michelle is she's an albino.
I remember.
Correct.
Yes.
And so, you know, there's variety. Bunke had dreadlocks. You know, Kim is from Zimbabwe. So it's just like, it was very inclusive, it was very strong. There was someone for everyone to relate to. Obviously, you know, we can't fit everything into one. But it was very strong, it was very powerful, and it was a bold move from Revolt itself. So I wanted to be part of something that's futuristic and that important, and a brand that's listening to the conversation that's happening in the country or in the world in general. That was, it was very important to me. Yeah.
Wow. Actually, it was really great because we speak, and also, you know, with having albinos and the different body shapes and the tall women and all of that, we've been having challenges with seeing the different types of women on TV for the longest time until, you know, about Kim Kardashian took it over and said they were the big ones, the first ones to have an African backside. But it's actually our thing, right? But we haven't seen it, and now it's trending because the different skin color has promoted it. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in, right? But you've touched on branding and marketing, and it's one of the questions that I wanted to delve into with you. In terms of some of the guys that are here, and some of us, we're starting our businesses, some of us are running our businesses. And I don't think we go as far as we need to go in terms of being serious about how we are being seen by the people who could potentially be our clients, right? And the people who we could collaborate with or whatever. So can you maybe go just a bit in depth on the importance of, firstly, social media in the time that we're living in, and also just branding yourself and selling yourself to people even when you are not at a greater stage to build yourself.
So I think, first of all, social media, what a tough era to live in, guys. I'm telling you, it's so difficult. And I think the scary thing about social media is we're only going to see the effects of what it actually does to you probably in about 20 years.
Yeah.
Right now we're just like, oh, let me look good, ooh, snap, ooh, I got the lighting and whatever, which is very powerful also. But the thing about social media, the thing about the internet is that you don't have to wait for someone to open the door for you, you can open it yourself. So a lot of people who maybe tweet me and say, oh, how do I get into television, or A lot of people, because of the hip hop shows and these songs, literally you can create your own channel. Literally you can create your own show. Literally, like, you can just start at home in your corner, like a lot of people do, and you can start whatever it is that you want to do. But the point is, you have to start.
Yeah.
However small your audience, you can have 5 followers, you can have 50, you can have 1 million. The point is, you have an audience.
Yeah.
Somebody is watching. Someone likes you. Someone believes in you. Someone is ready to just say yes to whatever it is that you want. And the thing about branding is, you have to know who you are, because that's what your brand is, who you are. It's not some weird, like, picture that somebody else has drawn for you. Obviously, a brand strategist will come and make it make sense in terms of marketing and school stuff behind it. But the brand is who you are at your core. So, like I always say, I'm tomboyish. Like I always say, I'm very chill. Like
This is who you are.
That's my core. That's who I am. That's who I grew up as. But then, in terms of fashion, the word tomboy is then seen as androgynous. Now that means I'm one of those girls that can dress like a boy and do it better than a boy, but then look really, really cool, right? And now it has a word, and I'm just like, okay. But for the longest time, before the world, or at least SA, because you did say we're really at the bottom of the bottom, it takes forever for people to catch up to what you're doing. For the longest time, people brought it down to, oh, she's just lesbian. And I'm like, definitely not. I promise you guys. And for the longest time, people were just like, oh, you're lesbian. And I'm like, guys, you know what? At this point, I really want to be lesbian just to make you guys happy. But I promise you, I really like boys. And then eventually, and this was probably like two years into me being a live presenter, is only when people clicked and said, okay, androgyny, okay, cool, I get it. So you can dress like a boy, and that literally just means being in suits, jeans, sneakers. But it's like a cool identity to have. So the branding thing is really all about writing down, if you really, really must, and writing down all the things that you like and all the things that you think you are, and working around them. Because it makes it easy for you to continue being this thing consistently without you having to constantly remind, oh, Koji, I said I like this, or now I have to be this all the time. Okay. That's where the core of it actually starts. But it's a lifelong thing, and you continuously add and you continuously grow, and you decide where it goes. For example, I mean, when I started on the show, you know, something as small as your hair can give you a certain brand identity. Yeah. Like the haircut that I had for 3 years, or however long I had it, was my identity for a very long time. So much when I got bored, I was like,
what do I do now?
People are going to know who I am after this hair. But little things that you pick for yourself become part of that. And the things that you share become part of your identity, right? So branding is about what you speak about, what you embody when you walk in, and who you say you are in your conversations. And even in things like your interviews or covers, you know, you can control those kind of things. But again, you don't, I've been hearing this a lot. When it comes to branding, and you speak about the fact that you know, you guys are businesses and you think about how you present yourself. Remember, in business, you're talking to the person, the human being, right? So they see, as much as it's the marketing director of and the CEO of, or this and that, it's a human. That is a human being behind that title. So that's who you need to remember that you're always consistently talking to. So how do you want to be remembered? You know, is it your cool spectacles? When you don't know, if you don't want it to be like an internal thing, is it just spectacles? Is it the fact that you're witty? Is it the fact that you're awkward? All those things that you may even think are weaknesses are actually very powerful. I'm very awkward. I'm very tall. And now I've got like a mountain of hair, which makes it worse. And for the longest time, I thought being tall was weakness, and it's actually a strength, because you walk into a room and unintentionally you're already pulling eyes, so you're like, oh, let's put on a show.
Why not?
Exactly. So I've seen branding transform in a most interesting way in different ways, especially obviously in the creative space. So for example, Rihanna. Rihanna is obviously a god, and she has done so well in consistently transforming her brand, because I feel like she's always been very honest about who she is. When she went through like the bad girl phase, she dressed like that, she embodied that, she was reckless in her conversation, she said whatever she wanted, she was smoking weed everywhere, she didn't care, right? And obviously now she's become a businesswoman, she's a mogul, things are different, right? But she did this one thing where in America, obviously there's paparazzi, always catching you in a comfortable situation, just taking pictures of you when you don't want to be taking pictures of. But she actually made it her runway. And if you look at all of Rihanna's pictures, that's how we fell in love with fashion. She became an icon because every time she stepped out the house, to her it was a photo shoot. And that's part of branding. Like, what do you want to do? How do you want to be perceived? What do you want people to talk about? And always remember that you control the narrative. You tell people, they don't tell you.
Yep.
And you don't wait for them to understand. They'll catch up later. You continue moving, you know. And I learned that the very, very hard way. Where right now, I'm like, oh, I wanted to be lesbian. It really, really got to me because I felt like I'm being misunderstood. There's a title about me that's not me. I think my mom even at some point was like, Dana, do you have something that you want to say? Come on, you grew up with me. You're my mother, right? And it got to me for the longest time. And eventually I was just like, actually, you guys will eventually catch up. I don't have time. And I decide who I want to be at any day. Right now I've got dreadlocks basically up to my knees and everybody's like, it's a vibe. I'm like, I know. So the power in branding is in the power of understanding who you are and also being okay with consistently changing. And again, you control the narrative. They don't tell you, you tell them.
Oh wow. Ooh. I was about to stand up and be like, yes, girl, because you're speaking my language. I'm saying this because even in corporate or in social civic spaces, anywhere, even in our families, sometimes you just gotta tell them, you're gonna catch up. You know, you are going to catch up. And so many people, I know so many young people are very much misunderstood. And they try, like there are young people who are artistic, right? And for the longest time, art was not perceived as anything. And even now, I mean, it's so difficult. But we must, I guess, move away from telling our children to become doctors. And I'm a medical technologist, but I don't want anybody in my family to become a medical technologist, right? I want when a child throws stones or starts building cars outside, when CEO, we sit with him in the house and he starts playing his games and he teaches us all these apps, I want him to go and do exactly that. Not what we want him to do, right? So it is just about that. Let them catch up. I guess that's the word, right? So I'm gonna move on. One of our main objectives is to hold each other's hands and expose each other to platforms that we may otherwise not be exposed to, as I mentioned earlier. We want to bring people that seem far-fetched from our daily lives closer to our young people so that they may be able to realize that we are, at the end of the day, all human and have the same dreams and visions about our lives. Now, the theme for this day is revolting. And I would like to delve into the real you and what really makes who you truly are. Firstly, though, before we get there, I just want you to tell us, what have you revolted against? I'm going to later share my personal story about revolting. But what have you revolted against in your personal space, in your business, or growing up that you said, no, I can't? You know, I'm going to stand and stand my truth. I know you've touched on a whole lot of things, but can you just share something with us?
I think, to be honest with you, like, the fact that I've always been the odd one out has been me revolting since day one, right? So if I'm the only girl amongst the boys, if I'm the only girl with a bike with the rolling blades, if I'm the only girl who's playing, or one of the few girls that are playing in this hip hop space, if I'm in a room, I mean, when I got into the entertainment industry, or at least the TV side, literally at the time, and you know, of course, a shout out to her impact and to her Madame Tender, but every girl had, you know, the short dresses, the long wigs, and whatever, and I was this one little one who wants to wear the whole star in a room full of girls in red bottoms, right? And I've always been that person who, much like this sunflower, doesn't mind standing out, right? And like, only because it makes me uncomfortable to try to be something else. I don't feel okay. I'm on edge all the time. It's too much to keep. It's much like a lie. You can't keep it up for long. Eventually the truth shows. And in all of those stages, I've always been the odd one out. I've always been the one who either things take too long in terms of career or don't work out the way that they, I don't know, my life is just built different. So I can't try fit this big thing into a smaller container just because I want to look like everybody else. Geez, I even have twins, so clearly, God is on something. But my story has always been the fact that I've always been singled out for a particular cause, for not looking like the rest, for looking like a boy, for dressing like a boy, for hanging out with the boys, or whatever it is. So in that sense, and when I say it, it may sound nice, but it really hasn't been fun. You know how it is growing up when you hang out with boys. Ooh, she's dressed with the boys. Why is she always with the boys? Whatever the case is. So there's stigmas and attachments and conversations to everything. Just dressing different and being called lesbian, or like not caring about makeup in a world where there's just face beads and lashes galore, or whatever the case is. And the reality of my situation has always been the fact that I've always understood what's happening at home.
Okay.
At some point I was in a highly expensive school and I had to leave. And the reality was that I didn't fit in with those girls. I wasn't in a triple story. My mom wasn't in a Porsche. And so I had to learn very quickly to be okay with my reality and my circumstance. And that really, really had an impact on why I'm okay with not fitting in. And I find fitting in quite boring.
Yeah.
Like, it's so boring. I'm just like, ugh, yo. So terrible. And the only thing about it is that I have to stay true to myself at all points. And even when I meet people and I speak to people, I'm always just like, I hope what you take away from me is the fact that you need to always be you. Right? Can be inspired by the things that people in the industry do. You can like things, but take all those elements and decide how they work for you. So that's the personal stuff. I'm trying to think of something. Sure, revolt. I think sometimes also when you don't react and you keep zen in a space where things are really coming at you sideways. I've been in an instance where I had to be the bigger person, where I was hosting an award ceremony backstage, and the co-host at the time, because we were sharing a changing room, stole my dress. The second dress I was supposed to change into, a moment that I thought, oh perfect, I'm gonna shine, I'm gonna trend. Finally that. And the first time I ever decided to be brave and wear something a little sexy.
Yeah.
And that moment was taken away from me. And the thing, revolt, I guess sometimes is just bringing yourself towards yourself. It was time for me to do the next link.
Okay.
On live television, there's no time to wait for you, and I was in tears. I was falling apart. And my producer at the time was like, listen, don't let her take the rest of this, right? Just pull yourself towards yourself, and you'll deal with it after. And literally, just before I was there, people were fixing my eyes. Just like, get it together. And I had to go back into workspace, forget everything else, revolt against all the negative energy around me. Do the rest of the show. And it was a very difficult thing to do. It was uncomfortable, it was strange. I didn't really want to speak about it, and there was just conversations in the industry about it. But I guess in that moment I was just like, I definitely am powerful. I may not see it yet. There's no way somebody would intentionally try to take something from you like that when they already have all the shine in the world. So what you need to do is figure it out. You need to find what everybody else sees, because you clearly don't see it, and you're playing small. So I guess the revolt sometimes is with yourself and the conversations in your head and the voices in your head. And those voices are different people as you've grown up. It's your mom's voice, it's your granny's voice, but what's your voice saying? What is it saying back to you?
Wow. I'd just like to say, Lalumbe and Tlantla, we really need that grant for another revolt, because it's actually the first time we said with so many young people, we're going to be doing these small masterclasses around the country. And it's the first time I've heard someone saying just calming and bringing yourself to yourself. So I think we really need it next year. So guys, the money, ne? Please. So yeah, the loot, we need it. So, I mean, you've touched on a whole lot of things, but I just want to find out, how do you keep yourself centered, and how is the relationship between you and yourself? You know.
How do I keep myself centered? It takes a lot of work. A lot of work, and even saying, like, you know, put yourself towards yourself, it's a very difficult thing to do. Very difficult, because I'm highly emotional, I'm short-tempered, I go 0 to 700 in like 2 seconds. So, you know, I have my moments of just like exploding, and then when I look at all the damage, I'm like, ooh. Oh, so I have to clean this. Great, okay. But how I keep centered is definitely the people around me, you know. First and foremost, it's my mother. It was my little brother. Those are people who, because when you're in entertainment, you tend to have people who don't see Luthando, then they see LootLove, right? Because it's a persona that you put on as soon as you get up. I don't look like this every day. I don't have time to look like this every day, right? Nobody wants to be in heels the whole day with earrings and makeup and like slightly heavy hair. I'm just trying to chill, guys. Like,
you're being real, right?
Right? So you need people around you who don't see the star or whatever it is. You need people who see Luthando, right? My brother is definitely going to annoy me or get annoyed with me, or my mom is going to call me out to come derailing. Also, the friends that are around me are people that I've had with me since before the thing. People who I spoke about my dreams with, people who, when we catch up and we call each other, just like, wow, we actually made it into Joburg. Or like, oh, because I forced all my friends to come to Joburg except for one. And the one friend was like, oh, thank you for forcing me. This is so great. Otherwise, we would have still been in PE, right? Those things, those people, those energies are what keep me very, very grounded. The other thing about it is, as you grow, as you make more money or make more friends, you're definitely going to be changed by those things, right? The thing about it is, half the time we're always just like, I don't want to change, I want to stay the same, I want to stay the same. Like, yeah, I'm humble, ooh, okay. And you're sitting there like, yeah, I'm nice. But it's like, if you don't change, you don't grow. And you can't stay, I can't be the Luthando that was in PE in 2010. I'm not her. So much has happened since then. So many things have impacted me. I've experienced so many things. So I have to put all those things together and see who I am today. Luckily for me now, I've got 2 beautiful baby girls. And to be honest with you, the relationship with myself, I thank God for this, because I don't know right now. It's new. When you have children, something is completely different. Something changes. The script completely flips, and you first of all just don't even have the energy for anything that like doesn't make sense. You don't even have energy to argue with people. It's like, gosh,
it's fine.
How are you wasting my time, right? And then people start start things and be like, oh, babe, I gotta go and get like witch baby kisses. So, and then you just get this like mountain and ocean of strength. I don't know where it comes from, but you just have a very strong sense of self while you're still trying to build yourself together. So the relationship I have with myself right now is relearning who I am. But the thing that's happened to me now is that I've realized that I need to, there's a part in our lives where we switch the child off. Maybe because of experiences, trauma, I don't know, whatever. I don't know if sometimes we don't know how to properly grow in terms of emotions. And the thing about having kids right now has taken me back to talking to young Luthando. Because I need to learn who she was in order to know who I am, so I can teach my boys who to be. So the relationship right now is relearning, reloving. And a friend of mine, I was talking to her, and she said, there's 2 things. I'm surrendering to myself, I'm healing myself, and the third is that I'm leaning in. So usually you want to run away, and you want to create, and you want to make it, and now I'm like, nah, it's happening in here, you know. And you mentioned, I just forgot who you mentioned, but they spoke about the internal revolution. That's what's happening to me right now, but I don't think it's only happening to me. I think it's happening to every single one of us, especially as I think there is something in the air, in the water. There is just something that's calling us home. And I hope we all eventually answer. And that relationship is that, and my children are teaching me a lot.
Okay.
And I'm taking all of that in, and I'm learning how to feel. Feeling. Feeling is so important.
Yeah.
I know we tend to pack it up in a box and put it away, but if feelings had an appearance, you would look like you have scars all
Yeah.
over your body.
Oh
And
God.
if you have a scar and you don't, what is it when you take out the dirt? What's English? When they're cleaning it, what's the right term when they clean your wound? Thank you. Wow. Disinfecting. If you don't disinfect it, if you don't, unwrap it every single day, put a new bandage on it, obviously gets infected, and the next thing you have to have your arm amputated, right? And that's exactly what emotions are. It's that. You have to actually feel it and unpack it and let it do whatever it's doing. And but we always get told don't feel.
Yeah.
Don't get angry. But those are all very important. Sadness, anger, it's an emotion. It counts, just like happiness, just like confusion. All of it is something you're supposed to feel. The way you communicate with your body is through feeling. When you feel pain, you need to stop and check out the pain. So when you're sad,
Attend to it.
you stop. When you're confused, just like when you're happy. It's all of those things. So those are the things I'm now really learning. And it's hectic. But it's work that I think we all need to do in order to be a healthier society. When you speak about neglecting the boy child or whatever, if you don't teach them about emotions and feeling, and if you don't teach the girls about speaking up and by speaking up in a respectful way or whatever it is, you don't teach the boy child how to not respect the woman and how to not feel entitled to her body and all of that. Though that's all part of feelings, emotions, feeling validated, feeling heard. And again, that's literally the conversation I'm having with myself and my notes and the music that I listen to. And I actually talk to the girls as well. I'll say, Mommy's sad today, and I'm very emotional, but you're here. And then they look at me like I'm crazy. I know they're listening. So because I want to learn how to communicate so that they learn how to communicate with me openly, and I wanted to never sound like they're attacking me when they're telling me how they feel, so that I'm never defensive when I actually say, okay, you are validated, I hear you, and Mommy was probably wrong, which would probably be very hard, and then we can work it out, because we need to create a generation of kids who can speak, because my little brother's 18 and they feel like they're not heard, and that's what then causes them to derail and just dig deeper into things like social media and create false things that don't really exist. So it's all revolting as feeling, I guess.
Like if we were on a live television show, like all my questions would have been answered right now, and I would be sitting there like, which tea do you like to drink? Because you've touched on so many of things that I wanted us to learn from you, and of course motherhood. I mean, we've been following you and we've seen how you've grown, and you're beautiful young girls, and we're really, really happy to hear about that part of you. I'm just gonna move on to that book because I read somewhere, and I actually brought my copy. That has anyone? Can you please hand it to me? Has anyone read this book? How many people have read this book? Okay, it's The Alchemist, right? Yes, okay, he got excited. Okay, nobody's gonna win it, it's mine, right guys? But I heard that you've read this book 5 times, and I think you take the record. Has anyone read it that much? I've read it, but not that much. But I would love for young people in this room today, maybe to please try and get this copy. I know we can all save up to get. It's very cheap. I got it for 180 rands whenever, right? But it's a book that you'll keep for a very long time in your life, and some of the great things they talk about, but I'm not going to go there. I want you to please go there in terms of what is it about this story in The Alchemist, and that makes you keep going back to it and reminding yourself of what it is about.
So I think so. The thing about me and reading, right? Because I only literally started traveling maybe in the last 4 years of my life. I literally only used to travel between well, traveling at least internationally, um, because of my work, luckily I've been around SA, which is incredible. But I could never afford to, I mean, I went to New York for the first time this year, and I've been wanting to go since 2007. So the thing about me and reading things is that that's how I travel.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously, books, play with the imagination. I'm creative, but the travels though are also very spiritual, right? I actually find this book a bit spiritual, to
Yeah.
me, which is why I kept going back to it. And the thing about it that I love the most is the journey towards a sense of trusting yourself. Sure, I haven't read it in a very long time, but we really, really battle with trusting ourselves, and we constantly want to ask the next person if the decision we're making is right.
Yeah.
And you miss all the signs around you because the universe is always talking to you, right? And I think I even read it in a conversations with God. The universe is always speaking to you through conversations, through moments like this. The questions you ask are answering something I asked God about 5 days ago. So you're always in conversation, and the most important part of it all is your intuition, right? Which is your voice, it's that feeling. And the journey that this boy goes through, things like omens, omens and signs on the road as you go. This book resonates with me in that sense. As I navigate through life, what am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I dreaming about? What are the people around me saying? Because I was even saying to my manager, Carlos, that we had a very difficult conversation yesterday, and I was very emotional. But then I was like, I actually need to figure out what the lesson here is, right? I'm upset. Yes, I cried it out and I was done, but there's certain things that keep repeating themselves in different ways. So there's obviously a lesson I'm not learning that I need to obviously look internally and figure out, okay, here I'm wrong, and I need to unpack that, and I need to work on fixing it. So this book always reminds me of that, and it also always reminds me of the fact that it takes time, but when you get there, it's worthy. But most importantly, that happiness is really internal. But the definition of happiness is different to everyone. Right? Sunflowers make me happy, like roses can make you happy, or whatever it is. And the more you remove the weird voices, the more you listen, and again, back to feeling, that feeling and trusting the journey that you're on. But being patient with it and the lessons that it's teaching you. There's certain lessons I've been learning for the last 10 years, and it just presents itself in a bigger, better way, and I still don't learn, and I still like, oh, here we are again, I know this one. But that's life. That's what happens. So that's the impact of this book to me. And I've seen so many people on the timeline say, oh, people who love The Alchemist are so like bland. And I'm like, fine, because you're obviously more intellectual than I am, so you're obviously important. That's fine. But it's just like certain things have certain impacts. And I really want everybody to read this because it's a journey of struggle.
Yeah.
It's a journey of difficulty, but it's also a journey of self-trust and eventually self-love and self-confidence and like triumph, And again, like I'm saying, there's something that's in the air, and I think as humans, someone once said something to me, this thing of, this is probably very random, but like this thing of constantly wearing shoes means you're disconnected from the ground, right? And the thing about, I think, horseshoes, they're magnetic, right? Literally, horseshoes are magnetic, so they're always plugged into the earth. That's why they're so lucky. So horses are very intelligent in the sense that they feel a lot, they know what's going on, they're in tune with nature feeling. And with us as human beings, small things like wearing shoes have plugged us away from nature. Right? That means then you kind of off center and you plug away from yourself. So those are the kind of things that small guys walk on grass for 10 seconds. Just step on grass, step on soil, just whatever, and see what it eventually does. And books like this have triggered those conversations in my life, and that's why I have read it 5 times, and I will continuously read it. And even my brother has read it a million times, and whatever the case is. So you were speaking a lot about traveling. There's different ways to travel.
Yeah.
You can travel on Instagram. You can see how other people live until you eventually get there, right? And because back to social media, I know I'm derailing, but you spoke about the power of social media and how you can use it. We've gone from, is it the 6 degree rule?
Yes.
Is it? It takes six people, then you meet.
Yes.
So it would take like 6 people for me to meet in a bar. For
Yes.
example. I'm pretty sure social media has removed a lot of those
Yeah.
You can meet anyone you want, anytime. In fact, you can follow Obama, see how he thinks. You know, you're closer to your idol than you think. You literally have them in your palm of your hand, right? Even all the information. So again, these books teach you about centering yourself so that you're in tune and you learn to listen to what your body consistently tells you every single day.
Oh, wow. I think most of us in the room are going to go home today and speak about Luthando, ne? Also, internally, one thing that this has taught me today is, and I'm glad that I'm very, awakened to that part of life, that you cannot judge a person just because they hang out at a certain spot. And that is why we wanted to have you, to hear the real you, not the you that we see. Because as you said, you can travel on Instagram, but some people never ever travel, right? And so our young people sometimes strive to be like people who don't exist.
Right.
And that's the danger of the times we are in.
Right.
And we are really honored, to have had you. But just the last question, or maybe something that I would like for you to say to the young people here. Can you please tell them something that they will take home, whether it's your favorite quote or something that nobody knows about you, or something that will inspire them in their life journeys as they move forward?
So I have 7 tattoos, right? But the last 3 are my favorites. Everyone, like every other one, I'm just like, oh, can't I just laser this off? But it's on my arm and it says, "Nobody's you, and that is your." Well, the actual quote is, "Nobody is you, and that is your power." But my person and my baby's dad's baby daddy.
Baby's dead.
Added the word super. Nobody is you, and that is your superpower. And our generation, the younger generation, is very impatient. We want quick results. We want to put it in now and get it all out now, when there's an entire journey of life that's waiting for us. And that may be because of internet influence, or I don't know, it could be a lot of things, but our generation is very important. But I think what I do want to say to you is, we're in a time where your voice is it has always been a powerful tool, but now you actually have a microphone and people are listening, right? I think our parents' generation were physical because no one was listening, so they had to get physical and active so that people can stop. But with us, we don't have to get physical in that sense. We have microphones, we have phones, we've got
social
media basically, and we can share the message, right? But your voice is very important, and your message is very important, right? There are so many people who need to hear different kinds of things, so don't ever think what you have to say is stupid and nobody believes it, or whatever the case is. Your story is valid, your journey is valid, your lessons are valid, your failures are valid. So where you can, share the truth. The truth about how hard this life is, the truth about how hard where you come from is, the truth about how hard it is to try to sleep at night when you feel like you're failing, the truth about how hard it is to wake up, the truth about how hard it is for me to wake up and feed my own kids at 3 a.m. I'm tired. I'm making money and then I have to wake up at 3 because you want a bottle? No. But I have to do it, right? So trust that voice always and spread it as far as you can. And the thing about getting a message across is, there's social media, there's television, and word of mouth is still the most important, most powerful tool in terms of sharing and advertising, right? So a conversation with your friend that makes a difference and helps, she will definitely talk to someone else and say, actually, I was talking to a friend of mine, this is what they said. That friend, it moves. You are very powerful, and to know yourself, though, you have to sit with yourself. and really like talk to yourself. Like sometimes talk to yourself in the mirror, sometimes talk to yourself in your diary, but you have to really find out who you are. But the most important part of my journey on this earth is going back to where I come from, doing dance. So isn't anything that you says on us, see a we don't you understand? Oh, we can do the punks and cats. Do you understand? You can drink the champagne, but you can't go to space when you sell on cohorts. Those are the things that make you who you are. And that's where you need to go back to, right? And that's where you need to be at your essence. And I can ask each and every one of you to be incredibly proud of whoever you are, wherever you come from. No matter what guys. That was a castle to you. That's where your dreams were birthed. Your parents did so much, they kept the imagination and everything alive. While not shooting at blood till you saw another kid at school like a PlayStation, and you're like, why don't I have that, right? Yeah. So never forget that even now, when I go to moves and she's like, oh, I'm a man, they cry. So now we're not busy with sushi and burgers and
like seriously.
That's part of your story, right? But in everything that you do, who are you first? Who were you before all the titles? Who were you before all the maybe high-end brands or the crazy hairstyles? But go back home always. And yeah, like the world is always. There's another quote that I really, really love that says, I saw it on a Johnny Walker billboard. It was in Santon Drum, I think. Sorry, it's an alcohol brand, but it was very powerful. It said, the whole world steps aside for the man or woman who knows where she's going. Right? And it's not even about like, it's not even about having a, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to have the map, but just keep moving. You'll find it. As long as your intention is learning and growing towards whatever it is that something's calling each and every single one of us. It's just up to us to answer, right? So just keep walking, even if it looks like you're walking backwards. That's fine. Just keep walking and walking and walking. The only time it'll end is when your time here ends. But we all know, right? Spirit still continues moving. So keep walking, keep growing, keep learning, and just keep being amazing.
Wow. Wow. As I said when we started, she's a powerhouse. She's a mover and shaker. She's a woman with wisdom. Thank you so much for sharing this day with us. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation from the South African Mandela Leaders Alumni Association. And when we do call again, please do answer. Because I think, I think we do need another session with you. We've learned so much from you. And I think the young people in this room will take everything that you've, select what they took, that's important to them. But more than that, all the best in your future with your family, beautiful family. May God keep expanding you. Thank you.
So I'm going to stay, but I have to rush home because my nanny, this is just her grandmother passed away. So the team is like,